If you just took the APUSH exam and you're curious if your responses are on par with what the College Board was hoping to see, stay tuned, I've got you covered. In this video, we're going through set 1, question 3. So if this question looks familiar to you, this is what we're talking about. Questions 3 and 4 have no stimulus and you have a choice. You may have answered this one on the American Revolution or the one on the Cold War. But we're going to go through the American Revolution question here. So part A was just to describe a British policy between 1763 and 1776. So all you needed to know was just one policy in this time period. So probably the most common ones I'm guessing students wrote about would have been the Proclamation of 1763, the Sugar and Stamp Acts, the Tea Acts, the Townshend Acts, the Intolerable Acts. Any of those will have worked as long as you just simply describe what the policy was. Part B was an interesting phrasing. They haven't used this phrasing before and I kind of like it. You get to choose if you want to do a similarity or a difference in how two groups responded. And so two of the groups that you may have chosen were the Loyalists and the Patriots. And you may have described that the Loyalists and the Patriots both protested the Stamp Act. And so that could have been a similarity. Or you could have described that they both protested the Stamp Act, but in different ways. So patriots would have been more likely to protest using boycotts, riots, demonstrations, whereas the loyalists were more likely to engage in peaceful demonstrations or petitioning legal avenues. Military mobilization. This is one where you could have addressed both similarities and differences with a whole bunch of different groups. You could talk about the Patriots, the Loyalists, African Americans, American Indians. So you could address the ways in which they mobilized and participated in the war effort that way. You could have talked about similar groups like the Daughters of Liberty and the Sons of Liberty. You also could talk about how in the wake of British policies, some groups sought peace, like through the Olive Branch Petition, or sought to prepare for war, like through the Declaration of Causes and Necessities for Taking Arms. So anything like that, where you're addressing how groups responded and then saying that these two groups responded similarly, these two groups responded differently, but making sure that you are addressing two specific groups there. Part C is describing one reason why the colonists beat the British. So you may have addressed the idea of alliances with Europeans like the French, the Spanish, and the Dutch. You may have addressed the leadership of George Washington, the resiliency of the colonists, maybe the guerrilla warfare that developed, also just the successful unifying of the colonies. While there certainly were loyalists, the fact that the colonies were able to join together and oppose the British would have been a significant development that definitely contributed to their victory. So there you have my responses, my potential answers for the set 1, question 3. What did you write about? What do you have questions about?